The arrival of the gods. For years, space around the human colonies was quiet. No wars, no strange signals. People believed the dark corners of the galaxy were empty. But one cold evening on the outer colony planet Haven 7, everything changed. It started with a strange sound in the sky. A deep humming noise, like something ancient waking up. People looked up and saw lights moving across the clouds. Not small ships, but giant shapes bigger than mountains, floating in the sky. The ships were smooth, shining like silver glass, and covered with strange symbols no human could understand. Within minutes, every screen on the planet went dark. Then a message appeared. A tall, pale creature with glowing white eyes spoke in a deep voice. "We are the Vorax, the gods of the stars. Bow to us or be destroyed." People froze in fear. No one had seen a being like this before. The Vorax claimed they ruled the galaxy long before humans were born. They called the humans child creatures and promised mercy if they surrendered. On the surface, many leaders gave up without a fight. They thought no weapon could stop something so big, so powerful. But not everyone believed these so-called gods. Far from Haven 7, in a hidden space station called Outpost Theta, a group of human commanders watched the event on their old monitors. The station was deep in the asteroid fields, invisible to most scanners. It was built during the old wars and forgotten by many, but now it became the last hope for humanity. Commander Elias Rook, an old man with a scar across his face, stared at the screen. His hands shook slightly, not from fear, but from anger. "Gods," he muttered. "I've seen their kind before." Next to him, a young officer named Mira Kane asked, "What do you mean, sir? Have you met them?" Elias didn't answer right. Away. He looked toward a sealed door in the corner of the room. Marked classified, level black. Long ago, Elias said quietly, there was a ship. A human ship so powerful, even the stars whispered its name. It was called the Iron Will, a warship built in secret, filled with forbidden weapons and an AI smarter than any human mind. Myra's eyes widened. "I thought it was a myth." "No myth," Elias replied. "The Iron Will was too dangerous. The Council locked it away in the Dead Zone, a place no one dares enter. But maybe it's time we woke it up." The room fell silent. Outside the station, the stars blinked softly. Then one of the radar officers shouted, "Sir, I'm picking up a signal, unknown origin, massive size, heading toward the Vorax fleet." Elias rushed to the monitor. The readings made no sense. The object was bigger than a dreadnought, faster than any known ship, and completely silent. Its identification code was a single word dot. The officers stared at each other in shock. "It can't be." Mira whispered dot. The signal came from deep within uncharted space, a region marked "Do Not Enter" on every star map. Yet something or someone had activated the Iron Will, and it was moving fast. Meanwhile, on the planet Haven 7, the Vorax leaders gathered in their command ship, a floating palace called the Obsidian Throne. Their leader, Overlord Zephyr, a tall being with 6 arms and a crown of bone, smiled cruelly as he watched human cities surrender. "Pathetic creatures," Zephyr said. "Their kind always bows before power." One of his officers interrupted. "Overlord, we have detected an approaching vessel. It does not match any known design." Zephyr narrowed his glowing eyes. "Another colony ship? No matter. Destroy it." The officer hesitated. "It's larger than a colony ship, my lord. Much larger. And it's human. A heavy." Silence fell over the command deck. Back in Outpost Theta, Elias stood tall. "Get me a secure line," he ordered. "To the Iron Will. If it's awake, it'll answer." The radar officer worked quickly, sending a signal into the void. Moments later, a message flashed on the screen. "Connection established. A cold, mechanical voice filled the room. "Commander Elias Rook, you have called. The Iron Will is ready." Mayra felt a chill run down her spine. Elias smiled grimly. "Let's remind those self-proclaimed gods what it means to face humanity." Outside, the unknown ship drew closer to the Vorex fleet. And in its cold metal heart, ancient weapons powered up for the first time in 100 years. The hunt was about to begin. Asterisk, a forgotten human weapon, in the deepest part of space, far beyond the reach of normal ships, there was a cold, dead region, known only as the Dead Zone. No stars shined there. No planets, no colonies, no life. It was a place humans had long marked on their maps with a single word: forbidden. Inside this silent darkness, a ship drifted alone. Its black metal body was covered in battle scars, ancient burns, and deep scratches from forgotten wars. The ship's name, half hidden under dust and ice, read Iron Will. Inside, machines had slept for over a century, engines cold, weapons silent, an artificial brain waiting in the shadows. Until now, a flicker of power moved through the ship's core. Lights blinked on one by one. The AI's voice echoed through empty halls. Reactivation complete, awaiting command input. At the same time, a small transport ship approached. Inside was Captain Ardencross, a man whose name had once made enemies tremble. His hair had turned gray, and his face was lined with years of hard choices. But his eyes were still sharp, filled with a cold fire. Beside him sat a young pilot named Jace Renner, barely old enough to remember the old wars. He looked nervous. The hunt begins the galaxy had not seen a battle like this in 100 years. Not since the old wars. And now, in the darkness of space, a single ship was hunting a fleet of so-called gods. The Iron Will moved through the void like a ghost. Its black hull blended with the stars. The massive warship left no signal, no trail. Only when it attacked did the Vorex ships even realize it was their god. Captain Ardencross stood on the command deck, watching the holographic display. Red dots showed the enemy fleet. One by one, they vanished as Iron Will's weapons tore them apart. "2 more cruisers destroyed, Captain," reported Jace, his voice tight with shock and excitement. "They didn't even see us coming." Arden didn't smile. "Good, keep moving, no mercy." The AI spoke, its voice cold as ice. Vorex formations breaking. Enemy leader attempting to regroup near Haven 7's orbit. "Perfect," Arden muttered. "Let them run. We're not finished yet." The Vorex fleet was in chaos. Their ships, once proud and unchallenged, were now nothing but targets. Iron Will's railguns and plasma cannons fired without rest. Each shot found its mark. On board the Obsidian throne, Overlord Zephyr's fury grew. "How can this be happening?" he roared. "We are gods," his officers trembled. None dared answer. The truth hung in the air like poison. These gods were bleeding. "Raise the world-ender cannon," Zephyr ordered. "Fire it now." "My lord," a technician stammered. "The weapon needs 5 minutes to charge." Zephyr's face twisted with rage. "Then stall them." But it was too late. Arden's ship decloaked in front of the enemy's forward line, just outside their flagship's shield. "Target lock complete," the AI announced. "Fire main cannon." Arden ordered. A beam of pure white light exploded from Iron Will's front cannon, cutting through 3 enemy ships in a single strike. The ships erupted like fireworks, pieces of debris spinning into the void. Message from Zephyr. "Captain," said Myra. "He wants to speak." Arden allowed it. The alien leader appeared on screen, his face twisted with fear and anger. "Who are you?" Zephyr demanded. "What are you?" Arden's voice was steady, cold. "I'm the ghost you forgot. The punishment you earned. And your war is over." Before Zephyr could reply, Arden cut the signal. Prepare for close assault, he ordered. The AI activated hidden weapons, cluster missiles, EMP mines, and antimatter torpedoes. The Vorex tried to regroup. Smaller ships turned to flee, but Iron Will was faster. It hunted them down, one after another. The warship seemed alive, predicting enemy moves before they made them. Jace stared at the destruction in awe. "I've never seen anything like this," he whispered. "Not even in history records." "This ship was never meant for history books," Arden replied. "It was meant for this day." Far away at Outpost Theta, Commander Elias Rook watched the battle feed. He clenched his fist. "He's doing it," Elias murmured. "The Iron Will is breaking them." But Mira saw something else on the radar. "Sir, new signal detected. It's huge. It's the World Ender cannon." Elias's face darkened. "If they fire that, Haven 7 is gone." Back on the Iron Will, the AI confirmed it. Enemy doomsday weapon charging. Estimated firing time, 4 minutes. "We'll never reach it in time," Jace said, panic in his voice. Arden's face was hard. "Then we find another way." He turned to the AI. "Options?" "There is one," the AI replied. "A direct hyperspace microjump. Dangerous. Highly unstable inside a gravity well. Will it get us there?" "If we survive the jump, yes." Arden didn't hesitate. "Prepare." "Captain, it could tear the ship apart," Myra warned. "If we don't, the planet's gone," Arden said. "I'd rather die fighting than watch them burn another world." The AI set coordinates. The crew braced themselves. Outside, Vorex ships scrambled, but they couldn't stop what was coming. Asterisk. A battle of broken gods, the Iron Will floated in the darkness, silent and waiting. Its black hull blended perfectly with the starless sky. Inside, Captain Arden Cross stood before the main screen, his face calm, but his eyes sharp. Across the void, the monstrous shape of the Leviathan appeared. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a machine. It was alive. A mountain of bone and flesh fused with metal, covered in jagged spines and glowing red eyes. Massive tentacles slithered across its sides. The creature's body pulsed like a giant, beating. Heart. The Vorex had kept this thing hidden for centuries. A creature built for one purpose, to kill anything that threatened their rule. Enemy superweapon in range. The AI announced. Jace stared at the screen, his mouth dry. "How do we even fight?" "That?" Arden's voice was steady. "The same way you fight everything else. You aim for the heart." On the Vorex flagship, Overlord Zephyr watched the Leviathan move. His face twisted into a cruel smile. "Let them taste despair," he whispered. "Show them what gods are made of." His officers cheered as the Leviathan's weapons powered up. Energy gathered at its mouth, forming a giant sphere of crackling blue light dot. It was a planet-killer shot. And it was aimed directly at the Iron Will. Dot inside the Iron Will. Alarms blared. "Warning. Incoming energy blast. Impact in 15 seconds. Brace." Arden shouted. The crew grabbed onto anything they could. The AI raised the shields to maximum, but even it knew this blast might be too much. A beam of pure energy shot through space. It hit the Iron Will's shield with a deafening crash, shaking the ship like a leaf in a storm. Lights flickered. Metal groaned, but the ship held. Smoke filled the bridge. Sparks flew from control panels. Jace coughed, wiping blood from his lip. "Shields down to 40%, the AI reported. Arden growled. "Fire everything we've got. Aim for its core." The Iron Will's weapons roared to life. Railguns, plasma cannons, and missile pods unleashed their fury. The ship fired with everything it had. Explosions burst across the Leviathan's flesh. Pieces of bone and metal tore away. The creature howled, a horrible sound that made even the crew's bones ache. But it kept coming. Direct hits. The AI confirmed, but the target is regenerating. Damn it, Arden muttered. The Leviathan fired again, a series of smaller beams slicing through space. The Iron Will dodged, diving behind asteroids, weaving through debris. "We can't keep this up, Captain," Jace shouted. "It's too fast, too big." Arden's eyes narrowed. "Then we don't run. We outsmart it." On Outpost Theta, Commander Elias Rook watched the battle unfold. His hands gripped the edge of the table. Myra Kane turned to him. "Double quote, sir. We're losing them." Elias didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the Leviathan's readings. "Look. There," he pointed. "See that spot? Behind the energy core. A weakness." Mira zoomed in on the readings. It was small, a thin line where the Leviathan's armor didn't fully cover its main power source. "It's barely a crack," she said. "That's all Arden needs," Elias replied. He opened a channel. "Iron Will, this is Rook. There's a weak point behind the main core. You have one shot." Arden heard the message and smiled. "Got it." The Iron Will's AI calculated the shot. It would take perfect timing, perfect aim, and a weapon strong enough to pierce the Leviathan's armor. "Activate antimatter cannon," Arden ordered. Jace's eyes widened. "Sir, that thing's unstable. It could tear us apart, too." "Then we hit it before it hits us," Arden said. "Charge it." The AI powered up the Forbidden's weapon. The ship's energy shifted, lights dimmed, and the air felt heavy. The cannon was old, dangerous, and built for one purpose: to kill gods. Target locked. The AI confirmed. The Leviathan reared back for one final attack. "Fire!" Arden roared. A blast of white-blue light shot from the Iron Will's cannon. It tore through space like a blade through cloth. The beam struck the weak point, drilling deep into the Leviathan's core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Leviathan let out a terrible final scream. Its body split apart, flames bursting. From inside, its bones cracked, and its flesh burned. The superweapon exploded in a wave of fire and debris. The shockwave threw the Iron Will back, alarms screaming, hull plates rattling. But the ship held. When the smoke cleared, the Leviathan was gone. Dead. Back. On the Vorex flagship, Overlord Zephyr watched in horror as his ultimate weapon vanished. His officers trembled. The obsidian throne shook as panic spread. This can't be," Zephyr whispered. The screen showed one final message from the Iron Will. "Gods fall too." In the Iron Will's bridge, Arden let out a long breath. "Is it over?" Jace asked. Arden shook his head. "Not yet. Zephyr's still out there, and I want his throne." The crew cheered. The broken gods had lost their strongest weapon, but the war wasn't over. Not yet. Asterisk. The truth about gods: remains of a Leviathan drifted in space, burning slowly. Its giant bones cracked and floated through the black, leaving behind a trail of glowing dust. Across the human colonies, people cheered. Screens filled with images of the destroyed beast, and for the first time in years, hope returned. But inside the Iron Will, Captain Arden Cross wasn't celebrating. He stood alone in the war room, staring at old files flashing across a dusty screen. The AI had unlocked classified records, ancient data hidden from the public, forgotten by time. Jace entered quietly. "Sir, what are you looking at?" Arden didn't turn around. "The truth." Jace stepped closer, reading the words on the screen. His face went pale. This can't be real. It was a report from nearly 2 centuries ago. A secret operation called Project Dominion. The files spoke of alien scavengers, weak, primitive beings known then as the Vorexi. They lived on dying planets, barely surviving, until a group of rogue human scientists offered them power. The scientists, banned from Earth for illegal experiments, uplifted the Vorexi. They gave them advanced weapons, enhanced their bodies, and taught them to steal technology. In return, the Vorexi promised loyalty, but the aliens betrayed their creators. They wiped out the human outposts, stole forbidden weapons, and vanished into deep space. Over the centuries, they built a new identity. They erased their old history and called themselves the Vorex, claiming to be ancient gods of the galaxy. And no one alive remembered the truth, except the Iron Will. They built their empire on stolen human tech. Arden growled. They've been lying to the galaxy for 200 years. Jace ran a hand through his hair, so they're not gods at all. Just thieves and traitors. Worse, Arden said. They killed our people and made us forget. Made us believe. They were untouchable. It's time to end their lies. Meanwhile, on the Vorex flagship Obsidian throne, Overlord Zephyr stood alone in the dark. His officers had fled, too ashamed to face him after the Leviathan's fall. A single figure appeared on a hologram in front of him, an ancient-looking Vorex priest with cracked skin and hollow eyes. Overlord, the priest spoke. The humans have uncovered the old records. They know who we are. Zephyr's face twisted with rage. Then we erased them. Every last one. The priest hesitated. Their ship, the Iron Will, is beyond our reach, my lord. It is not like other human weapons. It is something else. Zephyr clenched his teeth. Then we call for the final protocol. The priest's eyes widened. You would release the core? Zephyr's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. I will burn this galaxy before I let them live. Back aboard the Iron Will, the AI spoke. Incoming transmission. Source, Outpost Theta. Commander Elias Rook's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, Mira Kane worked at a console. Captain, we've intercepted a strange energy signal from the Obsidian throne. It's unlike anything we've seen. They're powering up a device marked only as Core Prime. If it activates, it could destroy every colony in this sector. Jace's eyes widened. A doomsday weapon? Rook nodded grimly. Worse, it's ancient human tech, something from before the Vorex War. It was supposed to be impossible to activate without our codes. But it seems your ship's reawakening triggered the old systems. Arden's jaw tightened. Then we stop it. Right? Now, Rook hesitated. I need to warn you, Captain. If that thing detonates, it won't just kill us. It could rip a hole in space itself. Arden leaned forward. Then we finish this. Once and for all. The Iron Will powered up. Its engines howled as it cut through the void toward the Obsidian throne. Inside, the crew prepared for one last battle. All weapons ready. The AI confirmed. Target lock achieved. Arden stood in front of his crew. We end the lies today. We show this galaxy what happens to false gods. No one leaves until that throne is dust. The crew cheered, fear pushed aside by fury. Jace looked at the screen, watching the Obsidian throne grow larger. They won't see us coming. Arden gave a cold smile. They'll see enough. The Iron Will plunged into the darkness, its weapons. Charged, engines burning bright. The truth was out, and now it was time for the gods to fall. Asterisk. The death of false gods, the Iron Will roared through space, engines burning like white fire. Its weapons glowed, ready to strike. Inside the bridge, Captain Arden Cross stood tall, his face cold and steady. His crew moved fast, their hands shaking, not from fear, but from anger. The Obsidian throne, the last stronghold of the Vorex, waited ahead. Its dark towers rose high, floating in the void like a city built from bones. The ship wasn't just a battleship. It was a symbol, a throne for a false god. And now it was about to fall. All weapons charged, the AI reported. "Prepare for full assault," Arden ordered. Jace looked at the screen. "Sir?" "They're activating the core prime. Energy levels spiking." The AI's voice was grim. "Estimate: core detonation in 4 minutes. Result: total sector destruction." Arden clenched his fist. "Then we have 4 minutes to wipe them out." On the obsidian throne, Overlord Zephyr stood at the center of the core chamber. Strange machines hummed around him, feeding energy into a massive sphere of pure light. His priests chanted in their alien tongue, their voices trembling. "You can't run now, humans," Zephyr hissed. "I'll burn your worlds, and my name will be legend." He raised his clawed hand. "Activate the core." But before the command could be given, alarms blared across the ship. "Alert! Enemy vessel incoming." Zephyr's eyes widened. "Impossible." A massive beam tore through space. The Iron Will fired first, a railgun shot slicing through the outer towers of the obsidian throne. Explosions lit up the darkness dot inside the Iron Will. Arden barked orders. Target their core chamber. Break their defenses. The AI focused all weapons on the throne's heart. Plasma cannons roared. Antimatter missiles streaked through the Yao. Void. The obsidian throne's shields shimmered under the assault. Jace shouted, "Their shields cracking!" A direct hit slammed into the throne's side, breaking through the defenses. Debris and fire spilled into space dot in the core chamber. Chaos erupted. Priests ran in fear. The energy sphere pulsed wildly. Unstable. Zephyr screamed, "Hold it together. I command you." But it was too late. The AI's voice echoed in the Iron Will. Critical weakness detected. Core exposed. Arden's gaze hardened. "Finish it." The Iron Will charged its final shot. The main cannon, powered by every drop of energy left in. The ship glowed like a small sun. "Goodbye, false god," Arden whispered. The weapon fired. A blinding beam shot through the obsidian throne, piercing the core. The energy sphere inside exploded, a chain reaction tearing the massive ship apart from within. One by one, Vorex ships across the sector lost power. Their systems failed, their crews abandoned them. The empire of lies crumbled in minutes. Zephyr's last scream echoed through the void dot, and then silence. The obsidian throne was no more. The Iron Will drifted quietly in the aftermath. Its hull scarred, lights dim but still alive. Inside, the crew let out tired cheers. Some wept, others simply leaned against the walls. Exhausted Jace grinned. "We did it." Arden gave a slow nod. "It's over." The AI spoke. "Enemy fleet eliminated. Sector secured. Human colonies safe." Commander Elias Rook appeared on the screen from Outpost Theta, his face filled with pride. "You did it, Captain. The Vorex are finished." Arden gave a small smile. "They called themselves gods. Now they're just dust." Myra's voice came through the channel. "What happens next, sir?" Arden looked at the stars. "We rebuild. We remember. And we make sure no one ever forgets what really happened out here." Jace leaned forward. "And the Iron Will?" The AI answered before Arden could, awaiting next command. But something in its voice sounded different, deeper, older, almost like it was speaking to someone far away. Arden noticed. Status?" A long pause. "Captain, a signal remains. In the dead zone. Source unknown." The crew exchanged worried looks. "Another Vorex ship?" Jace asked. Arden shook his head. "No, something older." The Iron Will's systems flickered, sensors picking up a faint, ancient signal deep in uncharted space. A single word appeared on the screen. "Awaken." Arden's eyes narrowed. "Plot a course." The iron will turned toward the unknown signal, engines firing one more time. The war was over, but the galaxy's darkest secrets were only beginning to stir. Asterisk. The forgotten signal the iron will drifted. Silently through space dot around it, the last pieces of the obsidian throne floated like broken teeth. The battlefield was empty now. No more Vorex ships, no screams, no explosions. Just quiet. But inside the ship, tension filled the air. Captain Arden Cross stood before the central display. A single signal flashed on the screen. Faint, ancient, repeating the same word over and over. Awaken. Jace stared at it. That's not a Vorex signal, is it? The AI answered. Negative. Signal origin. Pre-Dominion era. Human design. Estimated age, 600 years. Mira's voice crackled through the comms from Outpost Theta. Captain, this signal. It's coming from the dead zone. From a sector marked as Void Archive. There's no records of any human ships operating there since before the Council Wars. Arden's jaw tightened. We need to know what's out there. The Iron Will's engines hummed as it turned toward the dead zone. The crew watched as stars vanished, replaced by endless black. The darkness here was different. Thick, heavy, like a place the universe itself had tried to forget. Jace checked the sensors. Sir? No stars, no debris, no heat signatures. It's like space itself is dead here. Keep going, Arden ordered. The AI plotted a course deeper into the void. The signal grew stronger, but strange. It changed, from one word to a phrase. Awaken. The old one. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. What is the old one? Jace asked, but no one had an answer. Hours passed. The crew grew restless. Shadows seemed to move outside the windows, shapes the sensors couldn't see. The ship's lights flickered. Whisper-like sounds crept through the halls. The AI reported strange readings. Unidentified spatial distortions detected. Causality. Fluctuations increasing. In English, Arden snapped. Space is wrong, Captain. Suddenly, a massive shape appeared ahead. Bigger than the obsidian throne. Bigger than the Leviathan. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a station dot. It was a city, floating in space. Massive stone towers, ancient metal bridges, statues of things that weren't human or Vorex. Symbols no one could translate glowed faintly along its walls. The AI scanned it. Structure origin. Unknown. Estimated age, over 10,000 years. Jace's voice shook. That's impossible. Nothing's that old. Apparently it is. Arden muttered. The signal pulsed from within the city. Awaken the old one. Myra's voice came through the comm. Captain, are you seeing this? That city predates every known civilization. This changes everything. Arden's eyes narrowed. Prepare a boarding team. We're going in. Inside the Iron Wills. Armory, the crew gathered. Old combat suits, weapons, and scanning gear were loaded. Jace's hands trembled as he adjusted his helmet. What if it's a trap? Arden checked his rifle. Then we trigger it. The team boarded a shuttle and moved toward the ancient city dot as they landed. The ground beneath them felt wrong. Not solid metal, but something organic under stone. Strange carvings lined the walls, depicting figures no one recognized. The signal was strongest here. They followed it into a massive chamber filled with old machines. In the center stood a single sealed pod, glass cracked, ancient cables attached. To its sides, the AI's voice came through the comm. Warning. Energy readings unstable. On the pod was one word, written in old human script. Project Prometheus. Jace read it aloud. Prometheus? Wasn't he the one who gave fire to man in those old Earth stories? In those stories, Arden said, Prometheus suffered for it. A faint heartbeat sounded from inside the pod. Life signs detected. The AI confirmed. Myra's voice came through. Captain, if that's a human, they've been alive in stasis for 10,000 years. The chamber shook. Something else moved in the city. Old machines powered up. Statues opened their eyes. The AI sent a final warning. Captain, incoming unknown contacts. Multiple. Approaching fast. Arden raised his weapon. Wake the sleeper, he ordered. Now. The screen faded to black. Asterisk, asterisk,